Okay, welcome to the Introduction to Google Sites screencast. What we're going to cover in this video is how to go about accessing the template site that's been set up for you to work on, how you would then go about navigating that site, how to edit page content, so things like adding text and then formatting it, the various different insert options that are available, like adding images, links, videos, any links to material that you've worked on using your student Google account, uploading files, and then adding pages to the site and changing it and adding anything that you need to. So it's really just the basics of both formatting and administrating your site. So to start off with, you want to be able to access the template site that's been set up on your behalf. So there'll be a link on your Blackboard module site that tells you where to go, and you'll need to log in with your usual student credentials, but then you should see at least one site on your page that you're going to be working on. So you can see that in this instance I have a link to an intranet site, that's what I've called it, just for the purpose of this video. So to access that site, you just hover over it and then click the link. So looking at how we're going to navigate this site, as you can see in the centre of the page there is in effect a live preview of your website. If you wanted to share this website at this stage with somebody else, you didn't want them to edit it but you did just want to send the link to them, they would see exactly what's on the page here apart from this bar at the top, which I'll explain what that does in a second. But in the centre of the page, to navigate the site, you can see that at the top here we have a navigation bar with different tabbed buttons. They are in effect just web links, but in the Managing Your Site screencast I'll show you how you might go about changing those. Bear in mind that if you didn't want to have buttons along the top of your site, you could have a navigation bar on the left hand side here, or over on the right hand side if that's what you wanted as well. So there are tabs along the top and they correspond to each page that I've set up within this site. We've got some dummy text at the top here, which is effectively an introduction to what my website's going to be about, so obviously you can change that. And then underneath here we've got links to effectively again the different pages, but they could be links to anything that you wanted within this area. So if you click any of those, it will take you to the page that corresponds to that link, and we can just skip through these like this and then go back to the home page when we're ready. What you'll also notice is that there is a search box on the top right of the site, and you can move that around if you want to, but let's just search for something that I know is going to be visible on the site. And what that's done for me is search the site for anything that's got the word calendar in it, so that corresponds to the images that we've used on the front page and the calendar page, and then the page itself. So if I click that one, it will take me to the calendar page, and then I can go back home again. The one other thing that you'll notice at this level is that we have a sort of Google Sites bar at the bottom here. Now you can't see this very well just because of the way that I've coloured my site, but depending on how you decide to change the style of yours, you may or may not be able to see it better. These are just links that Google adds to all sites by default. You can take some of these away and add more if you want to, but you can never get rid of that bar because it's supplied by Google. So those are the very basics of how you would go about navigating your site. Okay, so moving on, we're going to look at how to edit existing page content. Now, as mentioned previously, you can see that when you have edit rights on a Google site, you get this white bar at the top of the screen, and there are some buttons on the right hand side of the page. So what I'm going to do is just hover over each of these individual buttons to explain to you what they can do. So the first one allows you to edit the page as it stands, and we'll look at that in a second. The second one allows you to create a new page at top level. So if I created a new page now, it would be added to my navigation bar here. The third button allows you to open the More Actions menu, and if I click this one, you'll see that there's a whole host of different things that you can change, but we'll look at that more closely in the Managing Your Site screencast. The next one, if you are familiar with Google applications in any way, you'll probably have seen this Share button before. But what this allows you to do is change the way the site is shared with the rest of the internet. So by clicking this button, and again we'll look at it more in Managing Your Site, you could share it with the wider internet, that would be fine, or you could share it with everybody hosted by what's called the SHU domain, so that would be anyone at Sheffield Hallam University, or in this case I have the site set up to be shared with anybody who's been supplied with the link. So if I send the link to the site to anybody, they can access it, but if they don't have the link, they can't see it. So, to go and look at how we would edit the page content and add text and format it, things like that, I'm going to click the Edit Page button here. What you'll see when I've started to edit the page is that you get that sort of flashing cursor on the left hand side here, much the same way as you would in Microsoft Word or something like that. So to start writing text below this dummy text that I've entered here, I just click below it like you would with any other tool. Enter my text here like that, and that's all I've really got to do. If I want to format that text, maybe make it bigger or bold or something like that, you can see that we've got this formatting bar along the top here, again like any sort of common word processing software. So to change how this is presented, I'll just copy it like this, change my point size here, so I'll make it a bit bigger, maybe bold it as well, and that's it. Underneath that, if I wanted to add bullet points or something like that, I can click this bullet list button on the format bar and just add my bullets like that. When I've finished writing that list, I click the button again and that's those gone. If I wanted to highlight them in any way, if I wanted to change the colour of the text or change their background, I can use the text colour button up here or this sort of highlight feature. And there you go, you can see that I've now got some highlighted text. But those are just the basic sorts of formatting functions that you might want to use. If you are familiar with HTML coding, you're more than welcome to use the HTML feature up here, but I'm not going to go into it too much because I don't think most people will be familiar with it, but please feel free to if you are familiar with that coding language. So to save any changes that you've made on the page, you've just got a save button up the top here. A draft will be saved automatically for you as you're editing the page, but to save all of your changes, you click the save button, and that is in effect the live website again.